Alright, what's up, guys? Okay, so tomorrow I gotta, well, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I got a concert. So tomorrow I have to go and practice or something. I gotta practice the song. I might go out in the morning and then come back and also practice again. It all depends. But I think I'm gonna go out tomorrow and I'm gonna go, I don't know, like there's like the piano practicing area and like there are little rooms and stuff, and I don't know if those room, like if you were to stay in there and like scream out and like start singing, if people will hear you outside. I've been there like twice and I haven't had any problem, but I've noticed like people like stop by, and I don't know, I felt like somebody was watching me. Anyways, Uh, alright, so we're gonna continue the story, and also we gotta talk about. We're gonna watch some. We're gonna watch some stuff. This is Shifu Lore Part Two, and before we do that, we gotta watch. Uh, how you call this guy? Johnny Depp and his wife stuff, and Ember. Let's Oh no. Review. Alright. Behavior analysis. This two, there you go. I hope this guy don't claim my YouTube video. I got like pretty much all my videos been claimed by people, so at this point I really don't care. Alright, Amber, her guest destroy heart. What? Okay. I'm not even gonna try to read that. Body language, maybe reaction to Dunning versus Amber trial. Who's lying? Let's watch this.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Behavioral Arts. And this week begins one of the biggest trials in Hollywood history between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. And there is a lot of really great body language lessons and a lot of great tells as to who's telling the truth, who's embellishing, who's holding back. And we're going to look at all of that. Let's go. So, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard got married in 2015. And a year later, this whole mess started where she filed for divorce, sued him for domestic violence. He sued her back for domestic violence, defamation. They've been going at each other since then. It's been years. I'm not going to get into all the
2015, bro?
details
That's
of each one
crazy.
of this. I will leave some links in the description if you guys want to know the background. But in this video, I'm going to focus on the behavior, what we're seeing when they talk about the
That's like
situation.
7
Let's begin
years.
with Amber Heard's deposition, where she's answering a bunch of questions about what transpired throughout the years, and there's a lot of great stuff here. Check it out.
Anytime prior to May 22nd, 2016, did you ever commit an act of domestic violence against Johnny Depp?
Calls for a legal conclusion and irrelevant. Go ahead.
Do you understand what I'm asking you?
No.
No?
See that? Like, females, bro, like, you can tell. I mean, it isn't just females. Like, you can tell, like, the person is. You can tell, like, how agreeable someone is by like looking at the eyebrows, the space between it and their eyes, and how they behave when somebody is talking to them. Like, look at the eye. Like you just know that she's like she's pretty much like she knows that she's on cloud and she's just doing stuff for the clouds. Like when I say clouds, like I know like most people don't know what clouds is. It's like you know how people will do like goofy stuff to like get attention and stuff on the internet. Like this is how this girl looks. She looks like she's acting pretty much. This isn't like her real vibe. This isn't her real vibe. She's pretending and she's acting and she's like she's in the overall mindset like she's on a TV show, like as if this here is like a show for other people to watch and stuff like that. She's not taking this seriously.
Do you understand what I'm asking you?
Like see that?
No?
Yes, I understand what you're asking.
Okay. And prior to May 21, 2016,
And she was smiling, but she used her tongue to hide it, and
or
she's
May
still
22,
smiling a little bit.
2016, is it your testimony that you never committed any act of what would be considered domestic violence against Mr. Depp?
Calls for legal conclusion and irrelevant to these proceedings.
I did my, no, I did my best to defend myself and not.
And see that mouth, like look at the mouth she made. All right, this is how like I read people pretty much. Like she's putting space in, like she's putting like air, like a little bit of air in your mouth, so people don't notice that she's like trying to laugh or something or trying to smile or something.
No?
Yes, I understand what you're asking.
Okay. And prior to May 21, 2016, or May 22, 2016, is it your testimony that you never committed any act of what would be considered domestic violence against Mr. Depp?
Calls for legal conclusion and irrelevant to these proceedings.
I did my, no, I did my best to defend myself and not.
That face right there. Look at that face. Like if you watch Orange is the New Black, right? The girl in the main actor, she's really good at making the I don't know, it's not poker face or whatever. Like she's really good at making this face, like pretenders. Like she's really good at that stuff. Like
Not get seriously
I don't
hurt
even know how to explain it, but
or be a doormat.
I'll be your doormat. Like
And this happens to all the time.
So we see throughout this whole deposition, including right here, a lot of activity with the lips. We see the tongue moving like this. We see lip compressions. The lips
obviously,
come together like this.
they God knows what I'm talking
These are
about.
all things that contribute to a cluster of deceptive behavior. Always remember, one thing can never indicate that someone's lying. We have to see multiple things happening at the same time. And these kinds of things usually contribute to that. But as we go on here, you're going to notice she's eating throughout this deposition. And you'll get my thoughts on that later. But that can explain a lot of this activity because there's food in her mouth. So I'm going to not give too much weight to all that activity in the lips. Now, the eyes, however, totally different story. When Amber Heard is being interviewed, and I don't just mean in this deposition, I mean even on other interviews, she has this thing that she does that when the other person is talking, her eyes just shift like this. They go from side to side like this, and it's very strange. I'm sure that some of you noticed looking at it going, what is she doing with her eyes? And there's a couple of reasons that somebody might have shifty eyes like this, and let's cover them all, and I'll tell you which one I think is most likely. The first reason you might see somebody's eyes shifting like this is someone who's very nervous and anxious, especially in social situations. But that typically is combined with other signs of nervousness. You know, fidgeting with the fingers like this, picking at their fingers, nail biting, a lot of rubbing the legs, rubbing the arms. This is someone who's uncomfortable. We're not seeing that much fidgeting with her, so I think it's unlikely that that's why her eyes do this. The second reason you might see shifty eyes like this is when in a crowd, someone is scanning all the different people in front of them to see if their story or what they're presenting is connecting. Whether it's deceptive or truthful, this is someone who's gauging the audience reaction. And we will see moments of that throughout the deposition, but in what we just saw, she's not looking at specific people, she's just staring off into the random distance. So that's not what it is either. The third reason you might see shifty eyes is accessing memory. So it's very likely that in this case, her lawyers gave her very strict instructions on how to handle certain questions and what to say and don't say this and do say that. So it's very likely that she's looking at what was I supposed to say here? She's thinking about it. And we often do this when we're thinking about or trying to access a specific memory. It's like we're searching the file cabinet. I do think that's part of what's happening, but I think the most likely reason as to why she does this thing with her eyes is reason number 4. The fourth reason is one that I'm very familiar with, and it's not because I studied criminal interrogation, it's not because of my degree in social psychology, it's because of the third part of my experience as an entertainer, as a mentalist who entertains people. Before I was on stages and TV shows, I used to do a lot of close-up, intimate cocktail parties or high-end events. Notice how very often, as her eyes shoot across, her mouth opens at the same time and it looks like this. I've seen this very often in high society people with a snobby or elitist attitude.
Exactly. So pretty much, like, I didn't go to the school that this guy go to. I didn't have the same experience that this guy had, but you guys could have seen, like, I pretty much explained, like everything he's explaining here pretty much. This is one of the reasons why, like, I don't watch like uh shows where like they invite people to talk and stuff, because like I tend to like read people too much, and I tend to read the situation, like the social situation, too much, and it's kind of overwhelming. And I really can't buy into like the like overall talk show, because like I'm too big, like subconsciously I like my brain is too busy analyzing like everything that it do and stuff, and like it's really hard for me to be engaged in those type of stuff. So that's why I don't watch shows like that. But pretty much like what he's explaining here is what I was trying to explain earlier.
And basically, what it signals is you're not important enough to hold my attention. It's dismissive and it's condescending. And I used to see this, it used to aggravate me so much when I was doing close up entertainment and you have a group of people and they're all really into it and they're all like really following it, but you have this one person holding their drink or their hors d'oeuvre and they're kind of like looking around the room like this. Like, there's more important things for me here. You're not important enough. It used to boil my blood. Now, I'm not saying she's trying to be condescending or dismissive. I just think that given who she is and the elite status that she has, she's developed this sort of attitude of like, you can't hold my attention. And you'll notice throughout this entire deposition, she very rarely gives the interrogator that attention and respect, and she's often just sort of looking around like,
All right, so we're just gonna skip. It's been like 5 minutes now, so we're just gonna skip this guy a little bit. I don't know if Johnny Depp part is in here. Uh, oh, there's Johnny Depp. Bro, what? This is crazy. Like she took over like the entire show pretty much, and there's like a tiny little part left for Johnny Depp. This is really sad.
that bad in terms of the injuries that she sustained. I also know you guys are going to have a ball in the comments about that expression she had right in the beginning when the lawyer asked, are you done? I just want to make sure that you're done. A picture is worth 1,000 words. That little clip is worth 1,000,000 words. I can't wait to see what you guys think of that expression in the comments. Let me know. Now let's move on to Captain Jack Sparrow himself, Johnny Depp, and some really interesting stuff from his deposition, much less, but very significant.
She threw a vodka bottle at me, and my hand was resting on the marble of the bar like that. And the first bottle went just past my ear, and the second one was a larger bottle, and she threw it from about this distance. And it smashed into the bar, which and this finger, who I now call Little Richard, um,
What he name is for you?
was the tip of the finger was severed, and the all the bone in here was
let's talk about the concept of hesitation, because hesitation can both be an indicator of truth and an indicator of deception, depending on the circumstance and when in the answer it presents itself. So,
You know,
hesitation.
I'm just gonna go off the bat and just say this randomly. Like I sort of have the feeling like Johnny Depp kind of like, I don't know, he likes the like the personality that lady have so far. Like I'm just gonna say it randomly. Like I'm not trying to say that he deserve what she's doing. Well, I mean what she did or stuff like that. But the way he talk about it is like, you know, it's like a normal thing that she just does. And
Hesitation is not normal if you're asking me a direct question to which I should know the answer. If you ask me where I live, what I do for a living, what my mother's name is, obviously it takes a second to register the question, but there should be a direct answer to a question like that. Yes or no questions. When it comes to telling a story, especially an emotional one, hesitation is very normal because you're thinking, you're trying to remember, especially when we have this downwards energy because we're trying to recall. So a bit of hesitation here and there is perfectly normal. Also, when hesitation comes in the middle of the story, it's very normal. You're trying to remember bits and pieces, and then this happened, and then I think this happened. So you're trying to recall it. Hesitation before, like this big pause before an answer, that is an indicator of deception because you're planning and rehearsing and strategizing your story and checking in with former lies you told to see if what you're about to say makes sense. So here we're seeing Johnny Depp telling this story, and there's a couple of things that are interesting about this. First of all, we're seeing quite a few smirks and some jokes, and he laughs at his jokes, or he says things, like some metaphors, like it was like Vesuvius, and and he smirks at his jokes. And this is just the habit of a charming storyteller. He is a professional storyteller. He's an actor. And look at the movies that he's in. Very fantasy, very, story driven. He knows how to present something to charm someone, to connect with someone. We're also, he's giving, the bottle went right past my ear. He's really building a very vivid image because he knows how to do that. He's also experiencing emotion as he talks about this because we have that sort of hesitation as he's thinking about it and he's
all right, so I didn't really think about this part that he just explained. But as you guys can see, like the way he explained it, it just felt like a casual thing, right? That's because like I didn't like think about this part when I was explaining it, but it's probably because like he's an actor and well, it's not because he's an actor. Maybe it's like a natural thing that he just does, and that's part of him and how he reacts and stuff, and how he make conversation and stuff. So it just came out naturally when he was answering. But the way he like did it so casually, it kind of felt like, it's like a normal stuff that you would like expect from a, I don't know if he's, I don't think he's trying to antagonize her, but in a sense, you can get a feeling that like he's kind of like disappointed in what she been doing so far.
calling it. And remember, again, the eyes are going downwards as he's remembering. His pacing is slow as he's recalling. And every now and then he looks up to get a piece of information as he keeps going. It's choppy, it's messy. It has a very honest feel to it. But this comes with a giant, giant warning. We're looking at one of the most accomplished actors in the world. Now, I covered the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock thing, and I did say numerous times that there are certain things that even a trained actor cannot fake or hide in moments of real emotion. This isn't one of them. Telling the story in an emotional, believable way is something that an actor can do easily. So, am I saying that this is entirely truthful? I'm not. I'm just saying it looks entirely truthful.
Amber,
Okay.
you apparently created some story about you punching a wall or something like that.
She says that I did it myself, yeah, by punching a wall.
Just another way to hurt you.
That's it. I'd like to see reactions from scientists. I mean, physicians who are familiar with kind of this sort of trauma, this sort of thing, because I'd love to see
Yeah. Do you guys have a wall punching scientist that I can talk to? Oh, it's not? Okay, thanks. Yeah, it turns out that's not a thing.
He's
So
just
this is a
laughing
really,
at what
really
she
interesting
said.
answer because there is a giant cluster of deception. Always remember the way we know that there's a high likelihood of deception is we see a lot of deceptive behaviors happening at the same time, and there is certainly a ton here. First, he's smirking at the question. There's that sort of condescending smirk at the question. Not necessarily a sign of deception, just a sign of like condescension. But then we have the hand goes to the forehead, so face touching, one of the most researched signs of deception. So hand goes to the forehead, then it passes through his head. It's called grooming. It's where we sort of make ourselves more presentable. So we have that. Then we have an enormous amount of not only face touching but mouth covering. The hand comes up like this. Now, when we're kids and we say something we're not supposed to say, our hands come up like this and block. As we become teenagers, we become a little bit better at it as we do this kind of thing. And as adults, we're a lot more subtle about it. But we're seeing a lot of mouth covering. Finger comes up like this. Notice also it's not an open palm touch like this. The fingers are coming in, digital flexion, signs of nervousness, signs of stress. As he comes up here, goes down, comes back up. So there's a lot of face touching. We see two separate eyebrow flashes where the eyebrows go up, and this is when we seek approval. And it's pretty clear that in the way he's presenting this, he's seeking the approval of the people that he's saying this to. Like, it's not possible. It's not possible to do this to your finger by punching a wall. So, what is this deceptive? Is this because I mean, it looks deceptive? Let me tell you exactly what I think. I believe that he 100% punched a wall. I don't believe that's how he hurt his finger. So he's putting the focus really on the fact that punching a wall could not have done this. You know, I would love to speak to scientists or physicians. Then he says, I'd love to see her explain how I could have broken my finger or damaged my finger by punching this wall. So he is denying breaking or damaging his finger by punching the wall, but we're seeing these deceptive tells because I think he 100% did punch a wall. It's just not how he damaged his finger. So there it was, guys. That was the analysis of the depositions. And I think there was a lot of really interesting stuff there. And at the end of the day, I can't tell you without evidence, especially in a case like this, who is for sure being abusive and who is for sure being abused.
Like, in my opinion, like both of these guys are just riding the cloud, bro. Like, if you guys watch that trials and shit, like they have like millions of view, right? Look, millions of view, 19 million, 5.9 million, 4.2 million, and people reacting to them getting 974k, 6.4 million, 12 million, 1.1 million, 6.7 million. You guys can see like 5.9 million. Like, these guys are riding the cloud like really, really hard right now. And I mean, like part of it is like, you know, Kim Kardashian and how you call him, Kanye West. You know, they had that thing too, and they were kind of like riding the cloud too, right? So I feel like with like these guys from like Hollywood and shit, like part of riding the cloud is kind of like in their nature. So I think like this beef could have been squashed like a really, really long time ago. Again, been like 7 years, 2015. They got married, and it's 2022, and it's still going through this shit. So yeah, I mean Johnny Depp, the guy is like great guy, like famous. Everybody like Johnny Depp. If you want a wife or quality woman or whatever, he can find it easily. And most of the recording, like the calls, like the recording from the calls that they've been making so far, it's like Johnny Depp is kind of like all into this female, and it's like he's kind of like accepting of like this type of stuff that she's doing, and he just want to like get her back and shit. And he knows that he can't get her back, but he really can't accept the fact that he knows that he can get her back, and what he's doing is like just trying to I don't know, trying to get her back when he knows clearly that he cannot get her back. Um, I mean, this was kind of like the same shit like I went through with this girl. All right, so I asked this girl out, she accepted and everything, and we had like a really crazy chemistry and shit. Um, at least I felt it. And but this shit here was long distance shit, right? So um, I would like it's not like a long experience, but like when it started off, like I set up stuff for us to like just hang out and stuff, and she made an excuse, and like this was before I watched like a bunch of online dating videos and shit. But like it's not like I started like taking online dating videos seriously. Like I don't take any shit from online seriously. So like I will explain like the YouTube videos and stuff, like how they explain what I experienced. So she made an excuse and I got pissed. Like naturally I got pissed. Uh so I got pissed and I just called her off. And then she messaged me back and she gave me compliments and shit, and then she wanted us to get back together. And then we got back together, and because like my personality type, like I take sometimes I take stuff literally. And like, all right, so for example, this girl, right, I sent her a romantic message or whatever, and then one time she told me like I should delete it, and I went ahead and deleted the message. But I didn't understand like in that situation that she actually wanted to like flirt. So I took it literally and I deleted the message. And right now when I'm thinking about it, I'll be like, all right, my order is here, so I gotta go pick it up. So gonna be eating while I talk about this. Alright, so I took it quite literally. I was on a literally part, literal part about my how I do stuff. Alright, so I deleted that message, and it was until recently that I realized that she just wanted me to say more of what I was saying when I sent a message and stuff, and maybe she just wanted to talk about it. But like I noticed because like she was like smiling and like blushing and stuff, and she was like delete it and stuff like that. So I I didn't pick that up, and I just like it was inexperience of me, like my action there. But yeah, all right. So the second literally part comes into play when after I like set up this shit for this girl and she like made an excuse and stuff. I stopped like setting up shit for her to us for us to hang out because like not because like I was angry, like it was just like I just thought like my natural self, like I just thought that's how she is, and it's that's how it was supposed to be. Like maybe she just didn't want me to set shit up. Like maybe she didn't want to like her personality. Maybe it wasn't in that type of way. So I just try to adapt, and like I literally just adapt to that overall experience. And later on, like she messaged me and shit, and then we broke up. It was probably because she thought I was boring. But in my like, I'm not trying to defend myself whatsoever. I am a little bit of a boring guy. Like I have a little bit of routine about me. So I won't lie. Uh, like I'm into like programming and shit. Like I don't think girls are into that shit. And like I'm the type of guy you will find listening to like classical music and like some weird shit. So like I'm not trying to defend myself. I know that part about myself and I can own up to it. But yeah, so we had a breakup because I'm sure she thought I was boring. But honestly, like from the way she reacted, I just adopted, and I didn't know she would actually react like this in the future. So that's like the weirdest shit with like girls, and that's like the harder part about like dating girls because when I started like watching YouTube videos about it, uh, they call that shit like a shit test or whatever they call it. And honestly, like I'm not about shit tests. Like that shit test life. I'm not about it. Um, I feel like I don't really take like girls who do shit tests. I don't take them seriously. And from the looks of it, like the way like almost like every single YouTube video about females is all about like how they always do shit tests and stuff. Like if that's how like all females are, I don't really think I'll be able to like have a relationship because like I'm not into shit tests. Like I don't know. Like if I'm gonna be single for the rest of my life, I'll be fine with it. Like I just think shit is not like I don't fuck with that type of shit. Like I don't do that. It's not really necessary, right? Why are you testing me for? What the fuck do you want, right? So um, all right. So that's that like about my experience with females and stuff. Uh, so yeah, with Johnny Depp and this girl. Oh, for some reason after I came from outside, like my entire body got so cold. Tears in my eyes and shit. Oh, it's the heat from this shit right here. All right. So I'm gonna put this on the side. All right. So as for Johnny Depp and this girl, um, I think Johnny Depp, like him staying in this relationship, is his own choice. Like staying in such a situation is his own choice. And as a man, like Johnny Depp, I mean, from so far from the amount of money that she been like taking from him so far, I feel like he's a wealthy guy. I mean, like it's not even like I feel like I know that he's a wealthy guy because he have like all these like crazy franchise connection and shit and all these movies that everybody like and shit like that. So he's a rich guy. It's easy for him to become the so-called alpha male. Now, right now he's like a I don't know. He's very beta. Yeah, I'm not saying it like it's a bad like beta is a bad like I already made a video about like alpha male and beta male and shit like that, but I feel like he's just like he knows his situation and he's just sitting in it, and I think like he's kind of dumb right now. Like I feel like what he's doing is really stupid. Like straight to the I'm just gonna cut straight to the chase, whatever. Uh, yeah. So that's Johnny Depp and Amber, and I feel like it's part of it is like riding the cloud and shit, cause like the way he explained about it and all that stuff, it's like he's explaining it because he have attention and he want like to drag that attention on and shit like that. And she too, when she's like doing those interviews and shit, like the way she do the smug face and all that stuff, it's like she feels as if like she's on a reality show or something, and like you know, and both of them are riding a cloud. So like it's gonna feel like emotionless. Like it feels like like when I say this, you guys are gonna think like I'm heartless or whatever, but logically, like anybody with a logical mindset will pretty much say the same thing to you. Like, don't worry about these guys. Like, they know what they are doing, and what they are experiencing is their own fault. Honestly, like you guys should not really care about Johnny Depp's situation right now because he knows what he's in, and he can like with a snap of a finger or whatever, he can end that situation. But he choose not to do it because he want to ride a cloud. And riding a cloud is like causing him his finger, like all those gruesome experiences and shit. He got money, he can fix it, right? You guys saw the finger, it kind of looked like natural, whatever. But in the actual incidents, like if you guys saw the videos and stuff, like that shit got cut off like clean, and the blood was like all over. If something like that happened to me, like that shit will be done like in a year. Like we'll go to court, we do whatever. Like if even if like she's gonna end up with like a little more than I think she should have, I will still let her have it, just so that I can end that shit, right? Like reasonably, that's what he should have done, but he's still in that situation, and they've been dragging that shit for like 7 years. Like that's kind of naughty. Mm. This shit is really good too. All right, so that's the beef, and it haven't been squashed yet. And what we're gonna be doing now is finishing that Shifu lore shit. So we're on the part where Shifu's grandpa turned into stone and shit, and the Ashen one or Asian one was asking for the air or whatever, and that's where we are. So the Ashen one continuing. The air you choose will have the power of the earth and wind and power. I mean, a power that is ageless. Starting him early will make even more Starting him early will make even more powerful. You have already paid the first price. Call the child forward or pay the second one. Dang. Alright. So if you guys haven't watched the part one yet, basically this Ashen One is kind of like a supernatural tax collector in a sense. And in this case, he came for like the next disciple of the sword. I mean of the spear, because as a curse or whatever of stealing the spear from the Ashen One ancestor and stuff. Uh, like I don't know if it's like a every century or something like that, but like whenever one of the disciple of the sword, like the follower of the sword, I mean of the spear, kind of like passes, there has to be a replacement, an heir or whatever. So right now, um, the Ashen One came to pick up the next person in line, pretty much. And there's always like a trial. Basically, you fight pretty much to the death with somebody, with a challenger, and stuff like that. In this case, Shifu's pupil, like his trainee, got killed, and there's like no one to replace him. Young Shifu looked on in pain and admiration. His grandfather stood up to the gods, stared into the face of death. Perhaps he could face him as well. He stepped forward. Have mercy on my grandfather, O Lord of earth. I am the child, the boy of which he speaks. The grandfather was released from the trunk of the earth. So I think he got unpetrified in a sense. Collapsed to the ground and coughed out blood and sand. Dang. Train the boy, he is ready. I sense his heart is stronger than your son's. Okay. Like this entire test is kind of like mysterious in a sense. Like most of this stuff doesn't add up in a sense. Um, if Shifu is the young one, then who was the other person who was fighting? Like if Shifu is young, how is he able to have a pupil who's who was contesting for the weight of the spear in a sense? Anyways, a lot of this is complicated, but you guys, this is the image of the overall stuff. This is grandfather. Hey, grandfather just got unpetrified, and this the Ashen One. He kind of looked like Rakan, but hey, and I think this is Shifu, and this is his sister. Alright, so even after all these years, Shifu still shivered in fear at how the mysterious creature had transfigured into fog and shadow and melted into the night. He stared at the air lifeless body and the massive spear next to it, a lighting, a living relic connecting him to the the ancient power of the earth and wind. His deep reflection disrupted by the sound of an axe blade, uh, barely missing his face, but now sticked into the ground. Shifu quickly took up the spear. It twirled in his hand effortlessly, whistling like the call of an old friend. So you can tell like Shifu was a prodigy or whatever. because like he picked up that spear and it felt like second nature to him. It felt like a child play, and you can tell like he's about to become like a badass just by looking at his text and what he's saying so far. So yeah. Alright, standing at attention, he inhaled the air of competition, the smell of blood, the decaying flesh of past battles, the stench of death, and the constant fanfare. Fanfare. I'm probably not pronouncing these words properly. Alright, this was the arena where facing mortality gives him life. Shifu circled the challenger, a lion examining its prey. The challenger swung his axe wildly. Shifu, Shifu dodged effortlessly. Okay. Alright, so you guys want me to. You know what? Never mind. Not too bad for a young warrior. Left-handed, but that is a ruse. Clearly, you are injured, favoring your right leg. You aren't used to the softball stance. Your balance is off. The arena can be an unforgiving place, can it not? The opponent snared and attacked again, and Shifu slipped away from his axe blade, causing the challenger to lose balance. So I think it was Shifu that was talking to his challenger, pretty much. Shifu immediately countered with a 3 spear slash. As you guys know, Shifu has a counter in the game itself, so yeah. The opponent swung the axe against Shifu, ducked, aimed, then in a bright flash, ocean blue and slender as lightning, thrust through the challenger. Shifu then closed his eyes. Lightning struck again, creating a translucent aura around him. Dang. Unable to see Shifu, the challenger recklessly swung his axe, now fleet-footed, otherwise invisible. Shifu rushed his opponent, warped his spear around his back, and with a swing to the tendon of the cleft, uh, swept his opponent's feet, knocking him on his back. Shifu then pressed the blade of his spear against the challenger's throat. Oh boy, this is this is sort of looking sad for the challenger. I'll kill you, but the earth has had its fill of blood for the day. Leave my arena and never return. The challenger dropped his axe and bolted out of the arena with their weighty spear now across his back. Shifu picked up the dead body of his heir, cradling him in his arm. He stumbled out of the arena. The roar of the crowd was a whisper, walking through the darkness. The frigid night air dried his tears. Dang. He's a true master, guys. Like, he just watched his trainee get killed, and instead of revenging, like avenging his trainee, he actually just let it go. Also knowing that he himself is in debt because of his Trini death, pretty much. Because his Trini died and couldn't complete the challenge, he is now supposed to take on the mantle and become the disciple of the way of the spear, pretty much. So he's taking on a lot. Alright, so it was dawn when Shifu made his way through the street of the Cornin capital, behind the protective walls of the renowned towering castle and its beautiful dragon garden. Dragon garden is one of the maps, obviously. Blood dripped onto the stone and floors of the small interior country courtyard, and mud houses of the low burn carpet carpenters, fishermen, and blacksmith. So this entire scene here, Shifu is like, I think he's back at his area, like I said, at his home, and he's just walking past like his neighbors in a sense, and among them there are like carpenters and fishermen, blacksmith doing normal day activities, and they are like the lower bond folks, and you guys can tell like all of this like description is pretty much just setting up the scene so it can be identified as like an ancient time type of thing. So Shifu carried the boy up to his quarters, a small room initially created for servants of the throne. He gently laid the body down and then wrapped it in linen. Uh, when in the Bible, like for Christians and stuff, this term linen was in the Bible, and the Christians, Jesus was wrapped in this as well. A shadow crawled across the wall until a whirring wind, dark fog, and dust formed a shape all a shape all too familiar. This is sounding like Crook, bro. Alright, the Ashen One stood before Shifu. Oh shit, it was the Ashen One all along. You know why I'm here, Spearman? Why if the Ashen One actually sounded like that? That would be like, it would be weird to actually take him seriously if he sounded like that. That would be nutty. I do here. I do. Here is your. Oh, this is Shifu. I do. Here is your heir. Uh, the Ashen One knelt and removed the linen from the dead body. After whispering an obscure word from an ancient language, the creature extended itself and bowed down in prayer before the body. The corpse turned to dust and blew away out of the window and into the midnight. He's one with the. He's one. He's one with the earth now. The Ashen One stood and approached Shifu. So, do you have no heir? You know the price. Alright, you guys already know what's about to happen here. Shifu's about to give up himself, pretty much. Because heir is pretty much dead. Alright, Shifu picked up his spear and assumed his combat stand, ready to strike first. Lightning flash and accurate arts. Oh my god, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. An arced in the air, an arch in the air, an arch. That's not arch. An arced in the air. Good luck, spirit. I'm not my grandfather. Shifu doesn't sound alright. So the weight of the spear, like I think this is how Shifu sound. Good luck, spirit. This, I mean, I'm not my grandfather. Like Shifu kind of sound like the like the how you call it, the ideal senpai in like a movie, like stereotypical senpai master, whatever. Uh, no, you are not. You test my mercy, Spearman. I will return, and the next time I will not be alone. You best have your hair when that time comes. Oh shit, bro, the dude just said, I'm gonna come back and we're gonna jump your ass. So this ancient one here is gonna give Shifu a little bit of time to like think about what he's gonna do next, and he's gonna come back and we're gonna see what's gonna happen. The ancient one once again transfigured into a turret of dust, fog, and shadow, and rolled the wind out of the window. Shifu carefully rested his spear against the wall. He crawled into bed, his heart beating out of his chest. He knew goddamn well he wasn't gonna beat. He wasn't gonna beat the Asian one if he actually fought him. I mean, this shit is literally supernatural. So, at the rising of the sun, he would start the journey of finding a new era and the fight to preserve his own life and that of his line. Shifu closed his eyes and tried to forget his war until sleep took him. Alright, so this was your midnight story of the day, and this concludes Shifu's story for now, his journey for now. And as you guys can see, Shifu is from an ancient time where his ancestor had this burden put on them because of their greed, pretty much, or their curiosity when it comes to like weapon mastery, in a sense. So, out of curiosity, his ancestor tried to find the perfect weapon, and it so happened to be the weapons of the Asian one. And after they stole it, they got cursed, and as a result, they have to members of their society, uh, like the guys who have the bloodline closest to the ancestors who stole the weapon. Those guys, like the descendants, pretty much, they have to continue the ritual in a sense. And I mean, from an outside perspective, it sounds like a cool thing. But if you were actually Shifu in that time experiencing such a thing, it would have been a bit of a disaster. But a man gotta do what a man gotta do, and it was his responsibility. And if you guys know so far, I think actually I cannot make an assumption that Shifu did not find a new heir. Um, what I can say is like I think he's actually right now in this like very moment, in Battlerite itself. I think he entered the arena so that he can find a new heir or a new trainee in a sense. I feel like it's like the same thing with Freya as well, because like in their dialogue, um, or monologue or whatever, that voice over, I think there's like a line where Shifu like actually acts. I mean, actually like, uh, yeah, Shifu is pretty much asking people to like become his trainee or something like that. And yeah, so for those of you guys who like Shifu, this is uh brain food or whatever. and you guys should enjoy it. Rewatch it and all that stuff. If you haven't watched the part one, go ahead and watch the part one. It isn't too long, like I think it's like 15 minutes, and I posted it not too long ago, maybe like 2 or 3 days ago. So yeah.
Casa mille belle, la moustache e la camuccia.